Every 4 years, this map determines the most powerful person in the world. We're told it's shaped by campaigns, debates, and political strategy. That's not the whole story. The outcome of the modern American presidency was profoundly influenced by this: a machine. Not a voting machine, an air conditioner. This device, invented in the 1902 to solve a humidity problem in a Brooklyn printing plant, triggered one of the largest migrations in American history, re-engineered the country's political landscape, and locked humanity into a dangerous paradox. Between 1940 and 1980, as a direct result of this machine, northern states lost 31 electoral votes. Southern states gained 29. How did a machine designed to keep ink from smudging redraw the map of American power? The answer has nothing to do with comfort. It's about control. This story doesn't start with a heat wave. It starts here, the Sackett and Wilhelm's printing plant in Brooklyn. Their problem wasn't the heat, it was the humidity. On a damp summer days, paper would absorb moisture from the air, expanding just enough to misalign the colored inks. The result? Blurry, unusable prints. They called a 25-year-old engineer from Buffalo Forge Company. His name was Willis Carrier. His breakthrough moment came on a foggy train platform, when he noticed how mist hung in the air. From that simple observation, he got the idea for a machine that could control both temperature and moisture. In 1906, he was awarded a US patent for what became the world's first modern air conditioning system. It gave the printing plant total control over its environment. But outside these industrial walls, humans had no such control. Before air cons, the climate dictated the rhythm of life. Entire families slept on screened-in porches, or even in the yard. Architecture was the original climate control. Homes had high ceilings to let the hot air rise, deep porches for shade, and cross-ventilating windows. The only reliable escape was the movie theater, the first public spaces to be widely air-conditioned. It's why the summer blockbusters exist. People weren't just paying for the films, they were paying for 2 hours of cold, dry air. Carrier's industrial machine worked, but it was enormous, expensive, and complex. So how did this factory behemoth end up in millions of homes? After World War II, companies like Frigidaire and General Electric miniaturized the technology. The window unit was born. Early models were luxury items, costing the equivalent of over $200,000 today. But by the 1950s, mass production made them accessible to the growing middle class. And this changed everything. The Sun Belt, America's vast, sweltering, and largely underpopulated southern tiers suddenly became habitable year-round, and internal migration began. In 1940, the population of Phoenix, Arizona was 65,000. By 2000, 1.3 million, a growth of nearly 2,000%. In 1950, 28% of Americans lived in the Sun Belt. By 2000, it was 40%. This wasn't just the migration of people, it was the migration of power. So what happens when you redraw the population map of a nation? In the United States, political power is tied to population. More people means more representatives in the Congress. And more representative means more votes in the Electoral College, the body that actually chooses the president. As Americans fled the dense cities of the North for the spread-out suburbs of the South, political power followed them. The balance of the country shifted. It is no coincidence that from 1964 to 2004, every single elected president of the United States, with one exception, came from the Sun Belt. Lyndon Johnson of Texas, Richard Nixon of California, Jimmy Carter of Georgia, Ronald Reagan of California, George H.W. Bush of Texas, Bill Clinton of Arkansas, George W. Bush of Texas. The man who was just trying to keep the ink from smudging had, without ever intending to, done more to shape the American presidency for half a century than any political strategist. Today, air conditioning and electric fans account for nearly 20% of the electricity used in the buildings worldwide. That's 10% of all global electricity consumption. Global energy demand from AC is projected to triple by 2050. For the next 30 years, an average of 10 new units will be sold every second.